Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Thursday, 24th October 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Barbados launched a pioneering Debt for Climate initiative. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's a service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados launched Barbados' Debt for Climate conversation in Washington, D.C., a pioneering initiative expected to bring significant benefits to Barbadians. It's a public-private collaboration that involves exchanging existing debt for investments in climate-resilient projects. CBC's Crystal Hoyt is in Washington covering the IMF World Bank annual meetings and has this story.
Prime Minister Mottley, you just announced Barbados' Debt for Climate Convergence, which many describe as an innovative way to create that fiscal space for a climate investment. Tell me, for the average Barbadian, what does this mean?
That without having to pay more money, we're going to get to upgrade the South Coast Sewage Treatment Plant, that we're going to be able to use that water to augment water resources that we already know are short in the country, and that we will also not only augment our underground water resources, but we're also going to be able to do irrigation for farms in St. Philip, because we're going to carry the water up there, and once it is non-leafy green vegetable agriculture, we can undertake that as well. And then finally, of course, by upgrading the treatment plant, which you know was the problem when we came to office with sewage on the street, that we're in a position also to protect our nearshore environment in a way that it was intended. When the first treatment plant was built, it was just about separating solids. This one is about actually treating the water to a higher level. So it's actually going to be a higher quality water that goes into the aquifers to replenish it than the one that we currently have now.
Tell me about the involvement of the private sector in this partnership, specifically CIBC.
We would have had to go to public tender, and a number of financial institutions globally tendered. Of course, I was very happy that CIBC Caribbean had a competitive price, and in fact, they had done the work, winning the tender previously on the Debt for Nature as well in 2022. So they're already in the space, but as you heard from them, if we didn't have the partnership of the IDB, and the European Investment Bank and the GCF, it would almost be impossible for them to be able to assist in this. One, because the risk would be too high, and two, the cost of capital, the cost of the money, the interest rates would be also too high. So we've literally broken new ground by being able to come and discuss with the Inter-American Development Bank. This is the first ever one the European Investment Bank is involved in. The Green Climate Fund has been working with us on a number of projects, as you know, and in this instance, we're looking at both grant money as well as a concessional loan from them to make the whole project happen. It is likely that there will be also savings coming out of this, separate from what we use from the interest savings to build the South Coast Sewage Treatment Plant. It is likely that we will also get money for 5 years back to the Water Authority, and the amounts could be as small as 4 to 5 million or as high as 7 to 8 million, depending on when the structure of the project is completed. And without adding a cent to our debt, because we're using existing debt to be able to do what we're doing, but just reprofiling it and using it differently by having the partnerships and the guarantees and the loans.
Prime Minister Mottley added that the process is at the tender stage in terms of the construction of the sewage plant, and a review of those applicants will take place in late November. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
The Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force says it categorically denies and condemns what it calls false and malicious reports circulating on social media, alleging that a large quantity of cocaine is missing from its police exhibit room. Andre Huey of SKN Newsline reports.
A statement from the police said, quote, following an internal investigation, it was confirmed that a small quantity of cocaine, which had been seized during the execution of a search warrant at a residence, was inadvertently left at the premises after the search. The procedural breaches revealed by the investigation have since been addressed, and several disciplinary charges, including neglect of duty, were brought against the officer concerned. This matter is being handled in accordance with the disciplinary protocols of the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force to ensure full accountability, end quote. The police said all evidential items taken into police custody are handled with the utmost care. They said any officer found in violation of these protocols will be held accountable in accordance with the law. The police added, the trust and safety of the public are our top priorities, and we will continue to ensure that every action taken by our officers reflects our core values of transparency, responsibility, and respect for the rule of law. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick, in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Over in Jamaica, 3 men killed during reported battle with police in Clarendon. More from this developing story from TVJ News as Hopton Henry filed a hot telephone report.
3 men were fatally shot during a reported confrontation with the police in Clarendon this afternoon. Our news center was informed that a police team was conducting an operation along Hazard Drive in Maypen when they were reportedly fired on by men in a Toyota Probox motor vehicle. The cops returned fire and this led to a shootout. 3 men in the vehicle sustained bullet wounds and were taken to hospital where they were pronounced dead. The police are now combing the community for other suspects who escaped from the vehicle. Indicom investigators are now on the scene. Our correspondent Hopton Henry is on the scene and now joins us live on the phone. Hopton, paint a picture of what you're now seeing in the community.
Yes, thanks for having me. Yes, I'm present here on Hazard Drive. As it is now, most people have gone to their homes because earlier on people were seen hanging about with children because according to the parents, they are traumatized because this area is not known for such a crime. However, the police has stated that shortly after 2 p.m. they were traveling along the Bustamante Highway when they signaled a white Probox to stop with 5 men aboard. The motorists then opened fire at the police and the gun battle ensued for about 5 minutes and ended up in Hazard Drive, but it didn't all start here in Hazard Drive.
Okay, Hopton, do the police have an idea as to who are the men who were killed?
Yes, these men, according to the police, have been wanted for murders and shootings, and they are still trying to find out other details about these men. Also, they are trying to find the other 2 persons who was suspected to be in the car.
And how is the current operation impacting traffic in the area?
Yeah, this area is a 2-side. This area have 2 main roads, and both main roads have been closed because the shooting took place from one side to the other. So it's 2 different scenes at the moment. Actually, 3 scenes at the moment because there is an area that the car is at the moment being processed by Indicom. But also, it's a bit of festivity because parents have been out. A lot of motorists have been out and making their way home now, only to walk up on the roadblock, as we would say. One gentleman is complaining that he's not used to this and he's traumatized, so he's actually turned back with tears in his eyes.
Thanks so much, Hopes, and I can just imagine what it's like in that community. And of course, we'll continue to monitor that story.
In a call for unity among party members, Vincentian Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves emphasized the principles of solidarity, faith, hope, and love at the St. Lucia Labour Party's Conference of Delegates on Sunday last. During the event, he warned against withdrawing support from the party due to grievances, while SLP leader Philip J. Pear highlighted the Labour government's achievements and commitment to improving the quality of life for St. Lucians. Miriam Montoute of DBS News World has that story.
Unity, solidarity, faith, hope and love should characterize the Labour Party. That is according to political leader of the Unity Labour Party and Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. Dr. Gonsalves, the longest continually serving head of government since St. Vincent and the Grenadines became independent in 1979, was the guest speaker at the 2024 St. Lucia Labour Party Conference of Delegates. Speaking under the theme, Forward Together for More Progress, Dr. Gonsalves emphasized the importance of unity among party members.
This issue of good neighborliness, of solidarity, of looking out for one another is of paramount importance in the Labour family. And what the Labour family cannot say, that if they don't get two sheet of galvanized in time, or if the daughter ain't get the job which they think they should get, that you start to fuss and cuss and carry on. Me now vote again. If you do that, you're allowing the space for persons who do not have the belief, the vision, the philosophy, the policies and the programs like the Labour family to come into office.
Dr. Gonsalves also warned supporters of the SLP about withdrawing their support and votes from the party just because they feel aggrieved.
At any one time, there could only be one leader. In the breast of a lot of men and women, they would want to be prime minister. It's a worthy ambition. But it could only be one at a time. And we can't fight like crab in a barrel for it. There are established procedures for this to be done. And we mustn't have factions and divisions.
Philip J. Pierre, leader of the SLP and Prime Minister, outlined the various achievements of this SLP administration in several areas, such as sports, tourism, employment creation, and the youth economy. Pierre says that he is determined to improve the quality of life for the people of St. Lucia.
Sisters and brothers, comrades, I have said before, I do not support corruption, nor am I involved in any corruption. If any member of my government is found to be involved in corrupt acts, the consequences are clear. They go. I am warning you that we are dealing with an opposition that are desperate. They are pursuing a scorched-earth policy. They do anything. They say anything. They attack innocent people. They attack people's families. They tarnish the reputation of this country.
The constituencies of Beaufort North and Labrie are celebrating 50 years of unbroken support to the SLP. During the Conference of Delegates, special awards were given to past and present MPs who have served these two constituencies. Additionally, awards were given to those who have served the constituency of Beaufort South for the last 27 years. The SLP Conference of Delegates was held on Sunday, 20th October in Beaufort North at the Bellevue Combined School. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoute reporting.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Cotillion Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.